So TCU has a quarterback, Shawn Robinson, won the job in camp in the middle of August, beat out a kid who had transferred from Penn. He started one game last year, and this is multiple steps up from the quarterbacks Ohio State faced in the first 2 years. In fact, Bill Landis, and I'm Doug Maurice, in terms of a dual-threat quarterback, and Greg Schiano described him as that, this guy is the best dual-threat quarterback Ohio State has faced since blank.
Probably Deshaun Watson. Like, Baker Mayfield was a dual threat. He didn't really run, though. He just kind of scrambled around and tried to make plays. And Greg Schiano sort of said the same thing about Shawn Robinson when he was talking about him on Monday. But I think it's a little different. I think Shawn Robinson, if you give him the opportunity to run into the open field, he will. And he's a big, strong, fast guy who can be a problem for even Ohio State's caliber of athlete on defense. So this is a test that Ohio State does not face all that much. You don't get a ton of these guys in the Big Ten. And you have to go back more than a year to find a guy who's like even in the conversation in Mayfield and farther than that, in my opinion, to find a better comparison in the Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, this guy's like 6'2", 225. I mean, this guy's going to be a guy to deal with physically. He threw for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns in their first game. He threw for 146 yards against SMU last week. Against TCU, again, didn't look great in that first half against SMU, came on in the second half. But this is... They're going to have to outscore them a little bit. Doesn't feel like they're – I mean, they didn't shut down Oregon State. We're like making fun of Oregon State, but Oregon State put up 31. Ohio State's not going to win this game in the 20s. It's just, and we know TCU's defense is good. Man, am I talking to myself into thinking this is going to be a game? Like live on this video? No, I don't think I am. So Ohio State's going to have to score, and they're going to have to be disciplined, right? There are going to be times when we talk about this all the time. Your pass rush gets in there, but instead of a sack, he turns it into a big play. They can't get beat deep. If the safety's getting sucked up, guys have to have eye control. Linebackers have to make tackles in space. So we know the front four is going to get after Shawn Robinson. Yeah. All those things I just talked about. Disciplined linebackers, disciplined secondary. Is Ohio State going to be disciplined and be able to do that?
I think it's a great question. The guy, when Ohio State has faced quarterbacks like this in the last couple of years, a guy we always talked about and thought about was Sam Hubbard as a defensive end who was like actually kind of built more like a linebacker who can chase plays down to the wide side of the field. And Nick Bosa and Chase Young are really good athletes. I don't know if they can quite do that, so I think it puts a little more on Malik Harrison, puts more on Pete Werner, probably puts more on Baron Browning, who's a guy Greg Schiano said today has a, quote, unbelievable ability to cover ground. I think you need those athletes. Baron Browning has been a little hit or miss through the first 2 games, sort of like plugging holes and playing middle linebacker, but I think in a game like this, when you have a quarterback who can get out in space and really hurt you if you don't contain him, Baron Browning's going to be really important.
I think I'm here for Baron Browning, Shawn Robinson breakdowns, collisions in the open field. Yeah. Hey, I'm getting football excited. We talk about this all the time. There's like 8 games a year where we just like play Ring Around the Rosie and talk about dumb stuff because the football game's going to stink. This one's not going to stink. We'll be there. We're going to Texas. So make sure you're following us all week at cleveland.com.